Okay, so example 5. What if you're given a picture of a circle on a coordinate grid and they want you to write the equation of a circle based on the graph? So the first thing you want to know is locate your center, which is your HK. And when I look here, our center HK is located at -1, 0. So I'm going to say that HK is at -1, 0. And then your R value, your radius, you're going to look at your center and count till you hit the edge. So we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. We have a radius of 5. And to know if you're correct, then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're north 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're south 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're west 5. So we know that our HK is at -1, 0 and our R value is at 5. Then you're going to write your equation of standard form, which is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. We are going to use substitution. So x minus a minus 1 squared, y minus 0 squared, 5 squared. Simplify your math inside, so we become x minus means positive 1. Y minus 0, I'm just going to write y minus 0, so that way you remember that y is equivalent to 0 there. And then 5 squared is 25. You do not have to put the 0 here. You have an option of leaving your equation like this, or x plus 1 squared plus y squared equals 25. You have two choices. It could be left like this one. And then remember I wrote the word or, this one. Please remember that anytime a graph is given to you, you should always see a center value given to you. If you do not, check from ordered pair to ordered pair. You can count your distance between the two and take half the distance on the x value, and that will tell you where you are for your x value, which is h. Then take the values of the y components, and that will tell you where the y is located. If your graph or given circle is not on the x-axis, say it's centered somewhere else, you should be able to find the halfway point, which leads us to our next part, midpoint formula. Back in your early days, midpoint formula, if you were given two ordered points, x1, y1, x2, y2, the formula for the midpoint, the halfway point, was you did the average, x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So in example 6, it says find the midpoint of a line segment with given endpoints. So here are endpoints, which means I want to know the halfway point, the center. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to label this as x1, y1, x2, y2. So I want to find the midpoint of x. So x1 plus x2 divided by 2. And then the midpoint of the y, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. I took the equation and just split them, just to solve for x and then to solve for y. So now we see negative 1.2 plus a negative 6.6 divided by 2. That is our m of x. Our m of y, we see negative 3.1 plus a 1.2 divided by 2. So if we were to do our math, we have negative 1.2 plus another negative 6.6 gives us 7.8. Negative 7 point, which we were dividing by 2. And we get 3.9. That is the x coordinate. When you do the math on the other one, so we have negative 3.1, and we're adding $1.20 to it if you want to think about it that way. Gives us 1.9 negative, because remember, negative 3.1 is greater. And then you do half. And we get negative 0.95. So the midpoint for this is going to be at 3.9, that's negative, comma, negative 0.95. Okay, so it's self-explanatory when they're giving you the endpoints of a circle. Like say you want a line segment or the distance between 2 points or the halfway point. If they're given to you the edges, these are your endpoints, then you plug into the formula and you get your midpoint. But what happens when they want you to do the reverse? Say they gave you an endpoint and the midpoint, they want the missing endpoint. So in example 7 says, find the missing endpoint of the diameter of a circle given an endpoint and its midpoint. So our endpoint number 1 is at 710, the midpoint is at 5.6, and the endpoint 2 is what we don't know. So what we want to do is we're going to take our formula for the midpoint. So I'm going to write my mx is equal to x1 plus x2 divided by 2. And then the my is at y1 plus y2 divided by 2. They tell you what the mx is, the midpoint. They tell you right here, here's your midpoint. This is your mx. This is your my. This is your x1, y1, and what we don't know is x2, y2. So we're going to substitute in. So we're going to write 5 equals x1, which is a 7, plus the missing piece divided by 2. We have a 6. Then we write 10 plus the missing piece divided by 2. Notice we have a whole number on the left and a fraction on the right. Make them fractions. So remember, different denominators multiplied by your LCD. So it's a 2. So I multiply the left by 2 and the right by 2. So I become 10 equals 2's cancel. 7 plus x2. Subtract 7. x2 is located at a 3 for the x. Same thing on the right side. Multiply left and right by 2, because that's your LCD. You get 12 equaling 10 plus y2. Subtract the 10 over. So 2 is equal to y2. So our endpoint number 2 is located at 3, 2.